Tonight we go live with a star-studded lineup. We're going to have a chat with FC Nieuwoud. We're going to have Dave Abrams from Killarney on. We're going to have a chat with Ian Long regarding what's happening at Killarney in the class that he's chairman of. Brandon Kelly of the latest on Elo Scribanti. Greg Maloney on the Desi Raceway latest info. Leon Woodendal going to talk to us about round number 2, which is going to be up at Swartkops of the Extreme Festival. And then Dick Bates going to have a chat with us about the local class that he chairs down here at Killarney International Raceway. Well, folks, good evening to one and all, and welcome to where we are, I think, around about number 20 for season number 3, and closing on 40,000 views for season number 3. Utterly amazing stuff. It just makes it all so worthwhile and so fantastic. A big thanks to everybody on the board here behind us. Ferro Brake in PE, Engine Hero, Engine Importers, Pertamina, the suppliers of Fastron, Bessie Bester Motors, Tiger Wheel and Tire out there in George. Klein Plassie Mega, GNA Promotions, Bankos, they do the videos for us, Signs Extreme, making all the necessary signage for me here at the back, Westcape Spares, the people that was very involved in bringing the whole second gear talk show to where it is right now, Killarney International, the home of motorsport in South Africa, although we're going to be speaking to the boys in Swartkops not too long from now. Rage Productions, we in fact going to have FC Nieuwoud, the head honcho of Rage Productions, on the show this evening. PEOTR, they've got a meeting coming up in the not too distant future. Kuggies are Titan Tools, Rally Sprint for all, a growing form of motorsport down here in the Western Cape area. Capricorn Petroleum, people that supply a lot of us down here in Cape Town with our racing fuels. Car Care Clinic, Auntie Mel, she'll probably be out on circuit on Saturday as well. She's very quiet, so they must be working on the motor cars. CPI Performance, tuning, and then Cape Industrial Flooring. A big thanks. And we've got another one which is going to be joining us on Tuesday now as well, next week Tuesday. So what's happening this weekend? Lots and lots. On the 10th of April, Bloemfontein Oval, we did do the video from the commentator on Tuesday from the Bloem Oval, and I believe their entries are flowing in there very nicely. Killarney Main Circuit, we're going to have a couple of people on tonight regarding that. Vescus Oval, and FC Nieuwoud's going to be down there for that one. We'll chat with him about the latest news from Vescus Oval. East London, they've got a meeting running on Saturday, the Oval track as well. And then also Oudtshoorn Oval. Speaking of Oudtshoorn Oval, just before we went live now, I got a message from Peter Henning, reporter up from that side of the world, and I didn't have time to write notes on this. Listen to the message. Such a nice message. I'm going to play you the message just like it is. So literally hot off the press, this is the latest on what is happening in Oudtshoorn this weekend at the Arnold de Jager.
Hi Gary, Peter Henning here. Hope it's not too late, but I've just received word from Oudtshoorn that they've got 71 entries for Saturday's club race. Not sure whether you are talking to anybody from Oudtshoorn tonight. So the entry field looks really good for Saturday, and it's going to be some great racing. And the iTickets link I put onto all the groups yesterday already. I think it's on second gear as well, so you can tell the people tonight that link is up. People can buy tickets. My tickets racing starts at 3 o'clock on Saturday, and Andre Oosthuizen is going to be doing the streaming, and so we're looking forward to an awesome race. Enjoy the show tonight. Bye.
Well, there we go. Hot off the press. That's the latest from Ozo. Nice to see that they got 70 odd entries. That's brilliant stuff. I was wanting to get a bit of a chat going with Dirk van der Westhuizen. Is there a 2021 Klein Karoo Championship? We just had the 2021 not that long ago because of the COVID-19. Surely there's going to be a Klein Karoo coming up in July. We'll get some information on that and bring that through to you probably on Tuesday night. Let's talk a bit about what's happening at Killarney. Had a chat with Wayne Orenser and we had a chat about the bikes. And then I thought, let's get hold of one or two of the chairmen of the different classes. And a man that's been a chairman on and off for the last 10 years of what is probably the class that's got the most entries down at Killarney International Raceway is, in fact, this man here, and that is Mr. Ian Long. Ian, good evening to you. Your mic is on mute. If you can take your mic off mute for us, please.
Yes, Gary.
There we've got Ian Long joining us. Ian has had a bit of a stomach problem recently. He added a cracked rib to that, and he's just come back from hospital. Ian, health-wise, you all in good shape?
Yeah, I had a hernia removed, so I'm all back to normal, ready to give everyone trouble. So yeah, back to self as once again.
Back to doing what you do best. Well, 10 years, the last 10 years, you've been more chairman than what you haven't been of the Clubman series. For the folks that don't get a chance to get down to Killarney International on a regular basis, Clubman's is probably the class that historically has got the most entries on any given race day. Ian, the format for the people that don't know, what is the basis format of Clubman's racing, Killarney International Raceway?
Gary, yes, in a nutshell, Clubman's has been going for around about 40 years, so it's a very well-established group of enthusiasts, up-and-coming racers, and anybody who wants to get in racing, to get somewhere to start, come and join Clubman's, have fun. And our model is always there: have fun, enjoy the day, and obviously stick to the rules as much as you can. Our regulars, again, this weekend, great field, 50 entries. So we do that every round game so far. Blessed, I must say. So anything between 35 to 50 on any race day gives us one of the greatest shows I'm sure most of you have seen. We've got around about 100 driver car combinations that can race at any given time. So to predict a winner before the race day is always very difficult. But this weekend again, 50 on the grid, great show. Well done to all.
Tell me, for the people that don't watch it on a regular basis, how are the classes divided out in Clubman's racing?
Okay, so as many of you see racing, you all assume it's just getting in your car and race, and obviously race for the trophy. In our category, you've got 7 classes, A, B, C, D, E, and F, and then X for a newcomer. So a newcomer being your first time in that car combination, you will get classed in a class and you will be put into that class for the race thereafter. So obviously the class A is from a 123 to a 125, and then it goes down 2 seconds after that for the rest of the classes. We blessed this year, thanks to COVID, we thought we'd lose people. We've got anything up to 14 Class A competitors, which is the strongest we've had in many years. And anybody of those 14 can win that class. We run 2 series, so it's a senior and a junior to make a more sense to everybody. So senior ABC class and DEF your junior. So 2 championships up on the grab. If you win 2 titles or 2 years, you would obviously qualify for Western Province colours. So it's not all just go, it's there for the whole show. And I think we're one of the very few formulas who go out there, search sponsors, thankfully to the likes of Mike's Place, again this year's being on board with us. Some sort of secondary or subsidiary sponsors, Car Care Clinic, Executive Decision, DTM Nissan, Volkswagen Audi, Cool Touch Racing. none of us can race without their support. We in turn give something back to the drivers at every event after that, as well as the year-end function. So the guys come race, they get their 250 odd back after the race. It helps everyone. But come year-end, at least, like I said earlier, everyone had fun.
No, that is awesome stuff. Well, there we go, folks. That's the inside line. Ian, I take it you have seen the entries for this Saturday. I take it, as always, the biggest entry list of all the classes.
As I say, 50 entries, again, can go any way. Obviously, in a Class A perspective, could be once again Dani, Nias Modak, and perhaps someone like Jesse Huggard. You can never rule him out. He's been racing for many years, a stalwart of the class. Maybe Wayne Wilson gets his Nissan up to speed. So it can be so many. Clint Renard, one of the fastest golfs out there. Any one of those could win Class A. Class B, I would say a toss-up between Imad Modak, up and coming, and Daniel Kutsia, last year's runner-up in the championship. Class C, again, a great show at any given time. Could end up going the way of Bruce May or Willem Swart. I beg to differ anyone else, but that's what I would predict. Class D, Anton Jacobs, also been for many a year. And the likes of Noel Stander or even Clive Smith, who's moved up from Joburg with, I think, one of the very few Porsche 924s racing. Class E, one of your sponsored daughters, Kiara van Niekerk, always in the fray of things. Kiana Fenter and your Auntie Mel, as you call her, Auntie Mel Spur. And then Class F, very much of a mixed match. I would say Rodney Becker or else Willie Goos, the eldest racer at the moment. I think Willie, I'm under correction, about 75, 76 years old, and still again having fun.
In fact, Ian, he is, if I've got it correct, Uncle Willie, because I worked for the Goos family not that long ago, pre-COVID-19. And Uncle Willie, if I remember correctly, is 79 years old. I think in the next month or two, he actually turns 80. Hence, his son, Stephen, giving the car to him and saying, Dad, you go and ride. He wants to ride until he's 80 years of age, and that's exactly what he's busy doing. And, Uncle Willie, well, it's fantastic to have him out there with that motor car. And I think the day that he stops, you'll probably find he'll turn pit Mac for Stephen, and we'll get Stephen out there on the track as well. Ian, thanks very much for joining us. Hope that the operation all turns out good. And, there was a question there from Emil that was, let me just see if I can pick that one up again on the comments. I don't know if you saw that one. Where are we going? Oh, I had it here earlier on. Well, what Tiny wanted to know is, where is your fast tackies? Tell him about your bright tackies. There we go. That's the one I was looking for. Emil Brandt. Well, those of you that don't know, Ian's got the brightest pair of tackies we've ever seen in our life before. He outshines all the cars when he's down there on the grid. Have you still got those tackies?
I've still got the tackies. I'm always out there trying to make myself be seen. So if you can't find me, look around. You will definitely see me somewhere.
Fantastic. Ian, thanks for joining us. I'll see you at the track on Saturday.
Very well done, and thank you.
All right, that's the inside line from the clubman side of the world. And then another man that's been around for many decades at Killarney International Raceway has now got himself tied up as the chairman of the supercar division. And honor and a pleasure to have on screen this evening, Mr. Dick Bate. Dick, good evening to you.
Hi, Gary.
Fantastic to have you back on the show. I got to know Dick Bate many years ago. Probably, where are we, 1970, somewhere around there, where your racing career actually started. And what I didn't know was that your racing career actually started in bikes. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, Gary, I, as a youngster, grew up in Pinelands, and my neighbor was a gentleman by the name of Jan Krill. So when I was born, he was literally living in the house next to us, and I saw these little motorbikes there with skinny tires on and what have you, and just had a love for motorcycles. And way back in 1975, or the end of 74, beginning of 75, was the first time that I then got onto the racetrack and started riding motorcycles. And a certain Mike Cameron, who became a Springbok motorcyclist, his father was the chairman of the section in that day. So we had some good fun, good schooling, bunch of youngsters that came through from the go-kart circuit on buzzies and went on to do main circuit racing. So yeah, very good background, very good experience, life experiences. And obviously from a car perspective, I was thinking a bit earlier, Rolly Stanton from Motor Drive. Rolly Stanton was the chairman of the go-kart committee in those days.
Wow!
So, yeah,
Well,
I go back a long way with a bunch of the names. Dion Joubert was racing go-kart 50cc or 60cc go-karts in that day. Austin Obriger, Kyle Lanfier. There were a whole bunch of Ed Rosana. There were a bunch of people from that era that rubbed shoulders at the same time.
Oh, fantastic. Well, in fact, Timothy Stanton, the son of Rolly Stanton, is one of the guys that's very much involved with Sports and GT Masters Series with the iRacing, and a pretty good racer at that. Your first title, 1979, Western Province champion, and then because of your domicilium, unfortunately not being awarded the Border and the Eastern Cape colours, but then the bike racing ended in 82, very suddenly. How come?
I think as a privateer, and in our day, what used to happen was we would go to Kyalami and they would pay us, I don't remember the exact amount of money, but 2 or 3 or 4 of us would hop in a van, couple of bikes on a trailer, go to Joburg, and we would literally do it. If it wasn't for the travel money, we didn't have money to get back to Cape Town. So it was a serious love of the sport, a serious commitment to the sport. And, kind of when people were having accidents and getting wiped out, it was something that kind of got very close to my heart. I never signed up to get myself killed. And in a particular race at Kyalami in 82, I was riding a Ducati 500 Panther. I was lying 5th in the South African Championship, started on the front row of the grid at Kyalami, and a very dear friend of mine, Keith Pedersen, was killed in front of me. Mario Rademeyer went down, took Keith down, and during that particular race, I went from 4th place at the time of the accident to 26th at the end of the race, and got into my van, drove back to Cape Town. I thought, what am I racing motorcycles for? That was perhaps the first reality check that I'd ever had, that somebody very close to me and very close on the racetrack was obviously involved in an accident like that. And it was a silly thing because they had Armcos, they had straw bales, they had tires, they had things that were really, really dangerous. So it got to a point that at the end of 82, I decided that I would hang up my leathers, got married a year later, and carried on with life.
And then you discovered super saloons and clubmans. You were straight back into motorsport again.
Yeah, I think while I was racing bikes, I always had this, how can I say, grill or geest that people around me were racing Formula Fords. And I think that was probably the closest, kind of a formula to a motorcycle, that you were kind of really close to the ground, close to the action. The sensation of speed was awesome. But with having stopped the bike racing, I decided to give it a gap, got married, settled down, had children, bought a house, kind of all the things that mature people are supposed to do. And by the way, I was 23 years old when I stopped racing national motorcycles. So I was very much a youngster still. A lot of people matured much later on in their careers. But it was about 88, 89, a friend of mine again, Jan Kriel, was racing super saloons and clubmans. I bought a Toyota TRD liftback. Had a huge amount of fun with that until we had a wrong way around race. And I think it was Dave Runkel and Jan and myself were in a tight tussle. And the next thing is Jan veered off the circuit, drove into the back of where the pits are at Killarney today. We were probably doing 160 kilometers an hour or thereabouts. It hit fortunately, the biggest tree that was in that area at the time. And it took a very long time for them to extricate him from the car with hacksaws and things, because I think it was an ex-rally car that he was driving, that they used steam pipe and not just normal chrome moly or something for the roll cage, and they had to literally physically cut him out of the motor car. So that was the last time I raced a car until probably 10 years ago, where I shared a car with my daughter Andrea in an endurance race in I think it was a GDI Challenge. We drove a Class A car together, and it was the last time I've driven a race car around Killarney.
Yeah, I would actually like to go into the career of Andrea Bate, but I'm not going to, because I actually want to get Andrea one day up on the show, that we can do the life and times of Andrea, because she's had some very high highs and some very low lows in her career through no right or wrong doing of her own. And she's always stood out as a respected entity in motorsport. So I actually want to do a feature on her. Dick, yeah, you haven't got away from the, I know in the early 90s you were chairman of the motorcycle division, but now you've got yourself involved with the supercars as the chairman. You have a vision going forward of what you want to do with this class, as you did in the early 90s, where you revived motorcycle racing at Killarney, which wasn't there for like a 3-year period of time at that point.
Yeah, Gary, it's, kind of, I think I say to I justify to my wife and family that lots of people do alcohol and drugs and things, and I do motor racing. So it's been an absolute passion of mine all my life. The speed, the excitement, not necessarily just the physical driving or riding, but to just be involved with motorsport at all different levels. And I think the supercar thing, my son-in-law, Nyan de Toy, married to Andrea's older sister, Lauren, he said, Dad, you've retired now from running your business, and why don't we get you a car and you can come and get a bay in my workshop and start building and working on this car. So that's what we've done, and between the two of us we now own 3 of these supercars. And then we discovered earlier in the year that the formula wasn't actually going anywhere. There didn't seem to be a lot of motivation from the existing people. I think there was a bit of tiredness that had crept into what was going on there, and I just would love to see, I was great friends with the late Owen Ashley, and when he was building these cars, and then later on the V8 Masters, we were involved through our business Powerflow with building the exhausts on a lot of these different cars. So I've always had a passion for it, and it's now kind of, it feels like it's time for me to get involved. And I put my hand up, and last week I was accepted as the chairman of the section. And it's kind of you say that you're interested, or that you have a passion for something, and all of a sudden you end up in a scenario where everybody says, well, thank you, jump up and get the job. But I've got Rico Bala, and I've got a bunch of the guys that have been around for a while that are still very much involved. And, we're going to do this as a team. I'm not, I haven't got a magic wand that I can wave, but earlier in the year, we didn't manage to get enough cars together to race. And my motto when I stood for chairman was that we're going to have 10 cars on the grid for the 10th of April. And we have 10 entries for the 10th of April. So I think we've ticked the first box. We've already said that we're not going to be very, how can I say, heavy on the rules and regulations like they were written many years ago. We're going to free it up slightly for the first race or two, just to get the numbers back, get the people back, not chase people away that have got cars, because ultimately I think there's 18 cars still in Cape Town and around that can be raced. And the 3 cars that we own between Jan and myself, none of these 3 cars were actually racing for the last year or even longer than that. So we're trying to get them back into a formula, back into the formula and get the formula to grow. So, kind of it's a yes. We need to, as I've said to the rest of the guys in the committee and the competitors, we're a team. We're going to put on a show. We're going to have our 10 cars. We're going to put on the best possible show that we can. And we'll get the series to grow back to the numbers of where it was in a few years ago.
Oh, that's fantastic. You spoke about Rico Bala Racing, and I know that, in fact, I chatted to him recently now, the last couple of days. They are very, very much involved with preparation of racing cars at Killarney International Raceway. Kellen de Brain's car is going to be coming out of the Rico Bala Racing side of the world. Cedric Le Bon, that won the silver class up to the gold class. That car is also being done there in that same workshop. In fact, Rico Bala himself, that hasn't raced for a period of time, will be out on the circuit again. Obviously, Jess Huggett, that works there by him, he'll be on the track on Saturday. That's also being done there by Rico Barlow Racing. And then they've still got the Shelby Can-Am in the Sports and GT of Dr. Mike Verrier. And then the Porsche 9.4 that is going to ride in the Classics as well. So the likes of Rico Barlow Racing with the same type of passion as what you've got, making it all possible for us on Saturday. Dick, as the new chairman, welcome. Fantastic to have you back. It's a mark of respect from everybody that the moment you put your hand up, they put you straight into the chair. Welcome. Give it your best. We know you will. If anybody can bring it back to 14, 15, 16 cars, I'm sure you are the man. And when they come out on the track on Saturday, please feel free to come and join us in the commentary box, and you can watch from the best seat in the house. Thanks very much for joining us.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for inviting me to the show. Wonderful show you guys put on. And yes, I'll very much make an effort to come up there and have a chat with you guys in the commentary.
There we go. Once again, the inside line of what's happening at Killarney International Raceway. We've still got Dave Abrams we're going to have a chat with as well on some of the classes that we haven't had a chance to touch on yet. But let's talk about something slightly different. FC Nivote Rage Productions, the man that does all the ads for us for the Second Gear Talk Show, does a brilliant job. In fact, I think somewhere I've actually got a copy of what this man actually does. If I can pick it up quickly, it looks something like that. And that's the kind of stuff that Rage Productions does: printing, logos, events, team goodies, business, you name it. Everything you can think of, he does. And this man often comes up with ideas that we can make use of. And he's come up with a very, very good idea, which I like recently.
Hi, Gather. Oh, where did you go? How's it going, everybody? Yeah, don't know where Gary disappeared to now. See if we can get Gary back. But before we get to what Gary wanted to say there, this weekend, of course, obviously a lot of things happening all over the country, motorsport related, and I'll be heading down to the West Coast for the next race. It seems we've got Gary back.
That was the strangest of things. All of a sudden, I got chucked out of the studio and asked if I want to go back into my own studio. But you see, that's why I've got people like you on board, picks it up and just runs with it like nothing ever went wrong. That was strange. I got no idea. There must have been a dip in the electrics or something or other. So, FC, whatever you said there, I must admit I did miss that. But have you said anything about where you're going to be on Saturday at Vescus?
I was basically just starting to talk about going down to West Coast. We're actually leaving tomorrow morning quite early, doing one stop there for a bit of business that I'm doing there, and got to do a bit of a shoot. And then tomorrow night we'll be partying with some of the guys there, Jean Trevay and the whole team from West Coast Oval. And then Saturday, some big racing action happening down at West Coast Oval. Some of the classes I'm looking forward to seeing is the 1660s. They look like they've got a good bunch of entries into that one, as well as the stock rods are promising to be quite good. I've got a list here of some of the names that they're going to have there, and I'm looking at about 7, 8 very fast stock rods that will be in action down at West Coast, and I'm really looking forward to that one.
Well, that's fantastic. And there's going to be tickets available for the live streaming. That's going to be going from there. In fact, there is a number of different places where the live streaming tickets is going to be available. So, folks, we urge you to buy those tickets and support the clubs that are going to be out there on the television for you this weekend. Vescus, Oudtshoorn, and Bloem Oval. And remember, Killarney International comes to you gratis, free, and for net. So you've got that one already. All you got to do is buy the other 3, and you are plugged in to be able to do no gardening or pool cleaning whatsoever on Saturday with all of that racing available. FC, you came up with an idea which you basically rolled over with Steve Becker, and Steve is feeling a lot better. We've seen his videos recently. Thank you heavens for that. He had a light heart attack last Saturday. The commentating competition that you had in mind. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, well, Gary, I was lucky enough to, around about 16 years ago, have the opportunity to become South Africa's youngest motorsport commentator at the age of 15. And even at the age of 33, I'm beginning to be a veteran. And I mean, yourself and Frankie aren't exactly getting any younger. I'm getting older as well. And eventually we're going to get to a point where we're going to have a problem where there's no more commentators for our tracks in the Western Cape and all over South Africa. I mean, I know it's a problem that's at all the tracks. So I came up with this idea that we need to start getting fresh blood into the sport, be it young, be it old, doesn't matter. We just need some new, fresh energy and people that can take it further the day that we can't be there anymore. And we had a chat with Steve Baker down at Cape Agulhas Raceway, and he thought this was a brilliant idea. And he's been thinking of something along the same line, especially in Bredasdorp, which is a bit further away. And sometimes there will be conflicts where either myself, you, or Frankie can't make it. And then they don't have a commentator. So we started planning this competition where we actually want to see what talent is out there and get the people involved. And you can now enter into a competition. And each week we'll put together a little bit of a snippet of some racing. And you got to record that on your phone while you're commentating it. You send it either to myself, Frankie, or Gary. And from there, we'll choose a couple of shortlisted people every week. And who knows, we'll have a fresh new commentator next to us in the commentary box in the not too distant future.
Well, let's hope that she's good looking. I mean, let's hope it's a very nice person that joins us. Well, folks, just for interest's sake, FC has already chosen a video, and this video will be posted up on the Second Year Talk Show page. It will be under West Bromwich Commentators page with Frankie Yennis, and it will be under Rage Productions with FC. I was going to show you a short piece. This is a race which took place down at the Agulhas Raceway last week, Saturday. This is going to be the first piece which we are going to use. There's obviously the commentary has been taken out of it. And for the first competition, here's a short piece of the race which you're going to do a commentary on. It looks something like this. So as they work their way down into turn number one, I can see FC saying, down to turn number one they go. And so that race was actually a very good race, and they stayed very, very tight for an extended period of time. And you can pick up that video. It will be going up first thing tomorrow morning on Rage Productions, Second Year Talk Show, and West Bromwich Commentators page. You can then have a look at that, and then you can record your voiceover of that on a little WhatsApp recording for us. Take one phone and look at it, and you can see the race, and grab another phone and just do a recorded WhatsApp on that. And then we together, Frankie, FC and myself, will go through that, and then we will start making the necessary choices from there. FC, we've got a little bit of time left. The other thing that you came up with, I like this man's got lots of ideas. Frequently asked questions. Tell us about this, which is going to be starting in a week and a half from now.
Yeah, basically what we've come up with, the frequently asked questions. A lot of people that watch the show are either just supporters or fans of the show or fans of motorsport in general. And some of them don't have all the knowledge that we have that's on the inside. I mean, we've been in the sport for so long. We've come up with nicknames for people. We know all the classes. We know where all the tracks are. We know all the fine and little details. And we don't always think that everybody doesn't know this. So I've actually come up with the idea of pre-recording a little segment that will play once a week, where you get to send in your questions that you want to know about motorsport in general, whether it be about the classes, about the tracks, about your favorite racing drivers. You can send us those questions, and we will try and answer them to the best of our knowledge. Now, I've come up with a little one for this week, just to get things going. A frequently asked question is actually aimed at the chairman of the Cape Hell Drivers. Most of you know him as Francois van Tonder, but even more of you know him as Trappies van Tonder. And a lot of people have been wondering, where does that nickname come from? Now, basically a couple of years ago, this is quite a few years ago, I think this was a year or two just before I started commentating, Trappies was actually racing 1660s down at the Cape Hell Drivers in this 444 Golf that he had. And he came out of the quarry corner. Back then it was called Engine Corner, and that's the big corner of the oval down at Killarney for Cape Hell Drivers. And him and Eugene Greason were having quite a major tussle coming out of that corner. And basically, Van Tonder ran wide. And for those of you who've been down to Cape Hell Drivers, you'll know at the podium where the clock of the course and the flagman stands, there's a set of wooden steps that go down from the embankment down onto the track, or onto the grass area next to the track. So with Trappies losing control of the car, he basically sideswipes that whole set of stairs. You just see plunkies and stairs and nails and everything fly all over the place. And Gary and Frankie were actually commentating that race at that stage. And Frankie made the comment over the air that, geez, with him wiping out those steps, from now on, you know, anything to do with Trappies, that's going to be Mr. Van Tonder. And the name stuck. I mean, we've given lots of nicknames over the years, and those are one of the ones that have stuck, where even clients that have got no idea that Mr. Van Tonder races, and they call him Trappies Van Tonder when they call him over the phone to discuss products and stuff. So I hope I've answered one little question that you guys have wanted to know. But as of from tomorrow morning, we'll have a link on the Second Gear Talk Show page, as well as on the Rage Productions and a Racers blog page as well, where you can ask your frequently asked questions, and we'll pick the best one or two of those a week and do a little pre-recorded segment for the show, which will be played every Tuesday or Thursday night by once a week. That segment will be on the show.
Fantastic. Looking forward to that one. FC Niva, thanks very much for joining us. I'm sure you're looking forward to hitting the road down to Vescas for the weekend. And the man that you see on the photo here, folks, that is going to be the voice of FC Niva going live from Vescas on Saturday. And I think it's going to be some pretty good racing that's going to come down from there. Right, we've got some big names, big voices from Main Circuit coming up next. Let's go and pay the bills. And we come back to you with Main Circuit Racing.
Wastecape space. Just hold. Yes, it's the 2017. I've got it in my hand. Perfect. See you in an hour.
Wastecape Motor and Buggy Spares are located in Blackheath Industrial. We have a wide range of good used parts. We also do new parts, new tires, new engine components, mechanical repairs. We rebuild engines. The service that we provide exceeds our reputation. You'll always find someone to assist.
Well, folks, we've got three of the leading commentators in Main Circuit in South Africa that is available to us this evening, and I think I'm going to do something completely different. Let's bring them all up on screen together. Leon Odendaal, ex-racer, commentator of note, Swartkorps International Raceway. Brendan Kelly, the voice of Aldo Scribanti and the voice of South African Motorsport. And that is the man in the left-hand bottom corner with the same amount of grey as what I've got, and he goes by the name of Greg Maloney. Gents, good evening to you, one and all. Thanks very much for joining us. For those of you that know the voices but don't know the faces, this is the people that are bringing you all that massive amounts of information on any given race day. Let's start off with what's going to be happening this Saturday. Brendan, good day to you. Thanks for joining us once again. You're going to be down at Aldo Scribanti on Saturday. Give us a bit of background information as to what to expect there.
Yeah, hi Gary, and good evening, gents. Greg, good to see you again. Leon, hello, and good evening to all the people that are watching. Yeah, round 3 of our regional series at Aldo Scribante this weekend. Obviously catering for motorbikes, CBR 150s, NSF 100s, the youngsters that will be out on the track. Then our motorcycle classes, obviously the mix of historics, 600s, 1000cc, the superbikes, breakfast club bikes, all in the mix. We've got about, I think, 17 entries at close of business today. And then obviously the regional saloons classes, 6 classes of racing in regional saloons. We've got about just short of 20 entries there so far. Missing a couple with Desi Raceway, the racing happening up there. We're missing 1 or 2 of the big names, and the leader of the championships, Dion Slappert, going down to Cape Town. He's got school commitments, school sport commitments with his daughter, so he's not going to be racing this weekend. So that's going to leave the championship wide open. So it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out in the regional saloon classes. It's good to see that Gordon Nicholson he's got his big Nissan GTR, his Skyline sorted out. So it's going to be great to have him putting up against the car, the VW Polo of Duncan Lethbridge, the Class A cars. And then obviously the Coastal Challenge and Historics as well. That's always a highlight of the day with the old classic historic cars, and then also making a welcome return street and fine cars. We've got a nice field of street and fine cars entered as well. So we're in for a good day. As I say, it's round 3 of the championships. Racing kicks off 8 o'clock with qualifying 8 o'clock Saturday. First race scheduled for 9:45. So we're looking forward to a good one. The weather's looking absolutely spot on. So we should be in for some real crackerjack action.
That's fantastic. And as we spoke earlier on, a couple of the top contenders that's actually moving to Desi Raceway, and the big buzz there, your side, is that there's a couple of guys that are normally sort of like just under the radar, that all of a sudden the front end of the field opens up and there's a major buzz down at Scribante for these guys to take the opportunity when some of the big names and big bucks is not there to actually take part in that race event. So Brendan, I think you're going to have a lovely day's racing there. Talking about Desi Raceway, the voice of choice, Greg Maloney. Greg, good evening to you. You're going to be down at Desi this weekend?
Yeah, I'm going to be flying in tomorrow morning, bright and breezy. Got the red eye to King Sharka, and then heading down to Desi's Raceway for round 1 of the South African Endurance Series. As we saw last year, a massive growth in the Endurance Series side of things, with competitors coming from all around the country and also from international shores as well. We had a couple of international drivers coming to join us at the end of the season. Things looking good for this year. Unfortunately, Brendan, I've stolen some of your competitors, as you know. Yeah. The Scribantes are itching to get into those Lamborghinis, probably into the format that they were built for, as opposed to the sprint races that they've done so far. Take nothing away from the new GT3 series. It's doing really nicely. And, of course, they had big success with the opening round of the Extreme Festival in Cape Town with the G&H Transport Extreme Supercars. So, you know, participating in both those events and participating in events down in your end of the world are always things to juggle around. It's what you, myself, and Leon have to do, and Gary has to do, try and juggle and be in 2 places at once, which is not always easy. And those drivers have sort of got to take on the mantle that they think is going to give them the best success. If you think about Silvio last year, him and his cousin Franco, of course, shared the honors for the overall championship and took the first South African championship for the South African Endurance Series in that B26. Big guns coming down as well will be, of course, the massive Cobra contingent. Last year we saw a separate Cobra class because of the amount of work that Tony Martin and his team have done at Backdraft. There'll be a lot more of those taking part. There's a couple more Super Cup Polos that have also come to the forefront and are going to be looking to run at the front. Very successful motorcar, both in sprint racing and endurance series, with the success last year, of course, of 3rd overall for Team Perfect Circle. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Andre and Saul are going to be down there. And happy birthday to Saul today, by the way. It is his birthday too. But yeah, they're not going to make it out. They're going to be concentrating, Saul, a little bit on the international side of things for Porsche Cup in the Middle East. And Andre's kind of taking a little bit less of a hectic racing year to concentrate a bit more on, of course, being the magnificent advocate and lawyer and judge that he is. He's only going to be participating in the Super Cup Polos. So we'll only get to see him sort of once or twice, possibly at some of the bigger events. But the cool thing with Desi's Raceway, of course, is being down in Natal. Just the one bad thing is that we don't get people there, which you won't have, Bren, which Leon and I won't have next weekend, which Gary's not going to have this weekend, other than the live streaming. But the cool thing about it is that, thank goodness, we've got live streaming, and people have realized the value of it, Bren. I mean, I spoke to Gary about it last time I was on. You know the value. I'm going to be working closely with your two good friends that put a production together of note with Paul and with Daryl. So we're looking forward to a great event, and I think. Without the ability to get spectators to an event, if I just use the example of last week, Gary, we spoke about the motocross. As of Sunday morning, driving back from Port Elizabeth with Dave Peterson and the Two Wheels team, we'd had over 65,000 people reached in the two parts of the Motocross Nationals last weekend. So that's the power of live streaming. And if people haven't realized that yet, then they're doff. I'm sorry.
Now, that is amazing stuff. So what time do you think your live streaming is going to go out, Greg, and where can the people find it?
Basically, it'll go out on the SA Endurance Series page. It'll also go out on iLab because, of course, Gary van der Spey is down there with myself. It'll be on the Voice of Choice page, and it'll also be on Desi's Raceway page, all cross-posted onto those. I think the race, I haven't got the final program because they're busy shuffling around a couple of classes that have come to join us on lastminute.com. But it's a 6 hour. It's the Hesketh 6 hour, which is quite nice. A little tribute to Roy Hesketh and, of course, the famous circuit that is in Natal. They've named it the Hesketh 6 hour. So I think we're going to be kicking off at about 12 o'clock-ish and then running into the late afternoon and into the early evening. So look forward to seeing you guys there. But, of course, I'll be down there tomorrow. I'll do a live link from my page tomorrow and from Gary's page. So we'll get all the information out to anybody. And, of course, as always, with the production team that's with myself and Paul Bedford, it's free to air. So there's no subscription fees. We just want you to do what everybody else wants to do on social media, and that's just to like it and share it with all your friends, fans, and family.
Well, that's fantastic. The Killarney International event, which is round 2 of the regionals, that will be going out live, gratis, free and finite once again from the Killarney International Raceway, Dave Abrams and the guys there making that possible for us. And then a week from now, Brendan's going to be watching us on TV. He's going to be on the other side of the screen next week. And Leon, it's going to all move down to Ubos Swartkops Raceway, round 2 of the Extreme Festival. Tell us a bit about the expectation there. Leon, can you hear us? Oh, Leon's been sitting watching us all along. And when it matters, the stream goes. Leon, can you hear us?
Good evening, Gary. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I can hear you now. We were breaking up a little bit, but good evening, Gary, Greg, and Brendan. Thanks for having us. Yes, round 2 of the National Extreme Festival happening at Swartkops International Raceway, 17th of April next weekend. And yes, as Greg said, we've actually got the luxury now. Greg will be doing live streaming, and I'll be doing a live commentary upstairs in our air-conditioned, nice commentating. I know Gary is going to join us. But yeah, Swartkops International Track, I'll say, is one of the best racetracks in Gauteng. And yes, we've got the global touring cars, including Super Cup. We've got Investec Formula 1600. We've got Volkswagen Polo Cup, as well as Bridgestone Superbikes and Sunbed ZX10 Masters Cup. And also the regional, the Marlboro Crane Hire 366 Legends and the 2 liters. So it's going to be exciting days race. And we're looking for, yes, we don't have spectators at the moment, but we are thankful to still be doing commentating. Myself, Gary, I'm actually the Afrikaans commentator at Swartkops. And during normal times, when we do have spectators there, we've got predominantly 60-70% of the people there are Afrikaans speaking. But myself and Greg, we usually share the load there. But I do Afrikaans and English. But yes, we privileged and we're happy to still be commentating. And our round 2 of the National Festival, look out for the likes of Robert Volk, Michael van Rooyen, Lee Thompson from Universal Motorsport. And then, of course, Volkswagen Polo Cup, one of the longest standing classes in South Africa. Youngsters coming up, Leighton Fourie out of Universal Motorsport, but Yuri Swart from Cape Town, who did very well in round number 1.
Umpi was utterly brilliant in the pre-qualifying, the qualifying, the races and everything. Greg, you have the honor and the pleasure of going to all the different rounds of Extreme Festival. To my mind, the round one at Killarney was an amazing event. Is it on the level that you're accustomed to, and your visions for what you see for you and Leon next Saturday at Swartkops?
Oh, no doubt about it, Gaz. I think we're in for a spectacular round too. I mean, you just think about the big crash that happened between Keegan Campos and young Kwanda Mokwena, just to light the day up and get a little bit of heat in the rubber and heat in the personalities between youngsters and seasoned campaigners. That's exactly what you expect in Polo Cup. You know, celebrating 25 years of racing, you can't go wrong. Brendan was around when it first started. I'd only just started commentating a year after it started, so I got to witness sort of the likes of the Graham Nathans and the Henny Groenewoldts in Polo Classics. Leon, of course, has participated in it on a few occasions and has had opportunities to participate in it. I've actually raced in it myself as well, Polo Cup-wise. I got a chance to be part of the media challenge that they had. I ended up on the roof at Kyalami and then came back to get second place in that race with the media guys in the second heat. But I think that the cool thing about what Extreme Festival has done, in normal times, it's brought in a whole family aspect and a whole family vibe to the race day. So, you know, they cater for everybody on and off the circuit. Now they're having to play around with different options. And of course, the options that they've got are, as we've spoken about ad nauseum, the live stream options. And already they're playing around with different options as well, which Leon will tell you about, that next week they're looking to bring in small areas that will cordon off people and potentially look at ways of bringing the spectator back within the, and say, for instance, yourself, your friends, and your family can have a small area dedicated just to your friends and family. And hopefully that'll be the opening up of all circuits and all events on motorsport avenues where we can bring in the spectator value again.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I know that there was a push at Killarney to open up a number of the Bomas, and obviously have a Boma open, Boma closed, Boma open, Boma closed. I know they were busy with that. So let's hope that they get that one sorted out, that the people can then, well, Leon, then there'll be more people, just not the people in the pits that's going to be listening to you next week, Saturday. Brendan, at some point, Extreme Festival coming down to Aldous Scribanti later in the year?
Yeah, now about mid-year we host them, so that's always a big one. Always look forward to then working with the likes of Gary and also Laren Mew when she joins us in the box as well. So yeah, always nice to have the big names come and put on a show for us in Port Elizabeth. You know, but yeah, we just need the spectators. You know, the guys are starting to, the competitors are starting to feel it now, and they haven't quite, as far as Scribanti is concerned, embraced the live stream yet for the regional racing. But I think we're not far away from it. East London as well, we're looking at putting a package together for them as well. And yeah, we just hope that, you know, sooner rather than later we get spectators back to the circuit so that they can enjoy what we are witnessing firsthand from the commentary box.
Yeah.
In general, we're not too far away, actually, hey?
No, yeah, I don't think so. It's going to happen.
28th and 29 May, we're down there with you, buddy. So it's not a long time away. So hopefully by the time we get there on the 28th and 29th of May, people have behaved themselves. I know there's this big concern about the third wave, but if everybody behaves themselves and we do what we're supposed to do, there's a good possibility we could do a similar thing there. You know, you've got the facility and you've got the space down at Aldo to do that sort of areas where there could be socially distanced picnic spots.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And the other thing that I've actually noticed coming through recently is a lot of people that were first at the gate and the first ones to light their fire and the most vociferous around the circuits have gotten into a bit of a habit now of saying, like going to a rugby stadium, it's fantastic to go and watch the rugby, but you go home and you actually watch the game afterwards to pick up the finer detail. And a lot of people have actually got accustomed to it. And even though we're now opening up the gates more and more for people to come in, a lot of people are saying, it's fine. This is how we braai now. We don't watch rugby. We invite people around and we have people by the house and we actually watch it then. We enjoy it. Leon, do you see live streaming continuing after the gates is wide open, pay you $100 and come inside?
Yeah, definitely, Gary. Obviously, modern times and that we have found that live streaming is the way to go. You obviously remember the main people we have to look at is our sponsors. And I think you do give your sponsors a lot more coverage in live streaming. But at Swartkops Raceway, we've actually got the luxury where Greg will be doing downstairs the live streaming, myself will be upstairs doing the live commentary. So we actually got, let's call it the double whammy. But because I must say, when we do open the gates again, and yes, it's all COVID dependent, and I know it's winter time, and let's hope we, from a motorsport point of view, yes, you can ask Greg there. I miss my people on the Valla. You know, we've got embankment there, and the people on the Valla that we talk to, and they really interact. So we miss them there on the Valla, and once they're there, yes, there'll be live streaming for those who can't make it. Let's say you guys down in Cape Town, you can watch the live streaming. As I was sitting here in my living room in front of the laptop watching all the races at Killarney on the live stream, it was great. But also, we still enjoy doing live commentary for the people at the circuit. So let's call it, it's a double, not a double whammy, it's a double victory. But I can't wait to get the people back. And from that social distancing point of view, yes, we just need to work hard. And but we are just lucky and thankful that we can go racing for a start. But yes, we do miss our spectators, and let's hope we get them back soon. And yeah, as I said, Swartkops Raceway is a circuit point of view. It's not circuit, but you can see 3/4 of the circuit, Gary.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Well, to each and of you on screen, Leon Odendaal, Brandon Kelly, and Greg Maloney, a big thanks on behalf of Motorsport South Africa. It would have been nice to have had Frankie Yennis here with us as well. Probably the 4 biggest names in main circuit racing in South Africa for an extended period of time. It's awesome to be able to have all of you on this platform together, and for what you guys do for motorsport, and for the sponsors, or for the drivers, for the public out there, from everybody else, a big thanks to all of you. Look forward to seeing you guys at a circuit this Saturday, and watching your live stream. And then, yeah, let's hope, as you say, we can get everybody back to the tracks pretty soon. Leon, a closing word from your side?
Yeah, listen, thanks very much for having us. It's always a privilege. And everybody out there, keep supporting motor race to the sponsors. And yeah, for myself, I'm still competing in the VW Posi Drive VW Challenge. And but it's nice to do commentating and just root for everybody. So it's a privilege for me every time I get behind the mic. And looking forward to bring you all the action next week at Swartkops Raceway. And thanks a lot to Greg Maloney, always be there, sort of my right-hand man. And oh, it's great to be here. Thanks a lot for having me.
Well, there we go from Leon. Brendan, a closing word from your side?
Yeah, Gary, thanks very much for the opportunity to be on the show once again, and to showcase what's on at Aldo Scrivante, and as well as Victory and PEOTR. We've got kart racing next weekend at Chelsea Scrivante Circuit, followed by, it's a busy time, followed by racing at PEOTR on the 24th of April, and then the first of the Formula One powerboat races back on the circuit from the 1st of May, followed by Victory Raceway on the 15th. So thanks very much for the opportunity, and thank you very much for what you're doing for motorsport in South Africa. It certainly keeps everybody with a finger on the pulse. So been great to be on the show, and great sharing it with Greg. Enjoy the company of my mates at Desi Raceway.
Yeah, we will do, bro.
I'm very jealous. I wish I was there. Thanks very much.
I wish we were there too, Brent.
Well, I'll tell you what, multi-talented, multifaceted, involved with the Formula One power boating as well. Brendan Kelly, oval track, main circuit, you name it. Greg, coming back to the Extreme Festival, obviously it's a biggie. It looks like post-COVID-19 Extreme Festival is actually pretty healthy.
No, it certainly is. I think the one thing that has caught a lot of people out, which was expected to be at Swartkops, which Leon didn't mention, was the fact that we were supposed to debut Yamaha's R3 Cup. Unfortunately, all those motorcycles, due to COVID, have been stuck in customs and haven't been able to get them out yet. So there's about a 16-strong field of youngsters that have come through the ranks with Neil Herron and his team that would have debuted at Swartkops next weekend, but it's, of course, given an opportunity once again to Bridgestone Challenge and the Bridgestone Superbikes to come out and be part and parcel of a race day event, giving some two-wheeled action. But stay tuned, because that'll be launching real soon. And I think it's going to be pretty spectacular when that does. It's going to show that we've got, the talent pool that's going to lead through to what we've seen in two-wheeled racing, from a 50cc up to, the Brad Binders of the world. So look forward to that. But I think, Gary, from an Extreme Festival's point of view, to reiterate what you said, we came out strong. We came out fighting. We came out guns blazing. And if you look at the race that happened only a couple of weeks ago down at your home track, you can't ask for better for a way to kick the season off.
Yeah, no, definitely, no doubt about it. Be watching and listening. You're racing from Desi during the course of the weekend. Look forward to seeing you at Scribanti side of at Swartkop side of the world next week, Saturday. Going to be catching at 10 to 6. So we'll be there nice and early. We can have a quick breakfast and then do what we love, commentating on motorsport. I'll be sitting in the background watching you guys work. Greg, thanks very much for joining us.
Absolute pleasure, guys. All the best, everybody, and take care then. Bye-bye now.
Well, the voice of choice, Greg Maloney, always fantastic to have him around. And one more man we will bring up this evening is the man behind the scene, in front of the scenes, but behind the scenes. One of the biggest motivators in main circuit racing down here, the Cape Town side of the world, Mr. Dave Abrams, with his favorite shirt on, Killarney International Raceway. Good evening to you.
Good evening to you, and thank you very much. Good evening to everybody out there, and thank you very much for having me on the show again. It's a great privilege to be here, and I must thank you for a very flattering introduction. I am not that big a deal, believe me. It's my job to tell the story and to tell people what's going on, and that is more a privilege than a position of power. So yes, I love to be in the middle of where everything happens, and the favorite part of my job in some ways is the fact that my office actually overlooks the second half of the main straight at Killarney, and I can actually just look over my shoulder from my computer when I'm working in the office at Killarney and see what's happening on the track. It's a huge privilege to work there. It's a huge privilege to be part of the action. And that's why, one of the main reasons why I love what I do.
Because your office is looking down on the main straight. Well, that's, where the inspiration and the colorful wording and the adjectives comes past when Dave climbs onto the keyboard and does the writing that he does. Had a chat with Wayne about the bikes. We've had a chat with Dick Bate about the supercars. We've had a chat with Ian Long about Clubmans. We had a chat with Umpi Swart about GTIs. We haven't touched on the likes of V8 Masters. What are we expecting on Saturday?
Well, V8 Masters is going to be very interesting because, once again, the cars are all exactly the same. The drivers are all grown-ups. I will say that out loud. The drivers are all grown-ups. The cars are all identical. The power is the same. The grip is the same. The setup is the same. It's up to how good a driver you are. And there we look at people of vast experience, people who've been doing this for a long time. Fabio Tafani, Richard Schroeder, Brian Evans, Sean Moore, and our favorite guest from Gauteng, Ray Campos. These guys put on racing that is close and tight and yet not dangerous, and it is fantastic to see. And of course, one of the nicest parts of the whole thing, and I know that the proponents of electric power don't like me to say this, but it is true, that one of the big important things there is we are talking about 5.5 litre Ford Coyote crate engines. And when these guys come down the straights, they are making all the right noises. The cars are spectacular to watch. They're spectacular to listen to. And I'm very happy to say that even on live streaming, you can feel the power that comes out of these 12, 15, 18 big V8 engines.
They are always a big draw card, but something that's actually growing at Killarney recently, and there's a lot of motivation to make this class grow when it was almost down and out, is the Formula Libras.
That's been one of the biggest and most pleasant surprises that's come out of the last 18 months. A number of the guys who've got old Formula V cars and Formula 1600 cars from way back, which are not competitive against the best of the 2-litre cars, have formed a class within a class. And we've got 7, 8, 9 of these competitors mixing it up in midfield in the Formula Libre class. We've got 16 entries for this coming Saturday. And for a Formula Libre race, that is big stuff. And what is even more important, that half these entries are the same type of cars. They're all Formula Vs, they're Lantises and Rimas, and they are very, very competitive. Yes, you will see the guys at the front of the field in the big Reynards and the 2-litre Formula VWs, Andrew Rackstraw and Byron Mitchell, putting up incredible times, having a superb dice at the front of the field. But have another look. when the cameras are focused on midfield, and you will see dicing way closer and way better than you'll ever see it on a Formula One screen. That I can promise you. This is the class that has been the most pleasant surprise for a long time, and we are really, really thrilled about it. The Formula Libre racing came, as Gary has just said, came back from the brink of being practically extinct, and we've got 16 entries on the grid for this weekend, fighting against each other.
Fine cars and classic cars, they've also had their ups and downs. They've had their rule problems and what have you, but have once again come through pretty strongly as well.
Yes, once again, big fields. Haven't got the numbers right in front of me, but I know that there are more than 20 in the SDC Classics and about 12 or 14 in the fine cars. And remember, they run together, so we're talking about a huge field of almost 30 cars. So that is going to be a very crowded race. It'll be a fun race. I must tell you, the guys to watch at the front of the field are going to be Franco Donadio in that very, very quick Mark 1 Escort of his. And, of course, a big surprise to me to see him on the entry list. I haven't seen him racing for a long time. He's somebody I remember for when I still had hair. And that is, of course, Dave Kopka in the Mazda R100, who's hauled the car out of retirement. And he's on the entry list, which is absolutely wonderful. I look forward to seeing Mr. Kopka racing again. It's a long time since we heard a rotary motor going, a fully tuned rotary motor going flat box at Killarney. Yes, they're noisy, but it's a very impressive noise, and I look forward to that. But I must tell you that it will be in midfield in this race. You'll have to look out for it. There's another battle royal looming. We may remember that earlier this year, Melanie Cook scored the first triple win by a lady in 3 successive races for many, many, many years, right, driving her father's BMW 325 in the fine cars series. What is happening now is that she's got a serious rival in the form of Günther Appelgren in his Appelgren Farms BMW E36, taking her on. And we've got Jan Kukumur in, once again, a Mazda RX-7. The three of them are likely to be putting up a dice in midfield that will be well worth watching. And if I have to quote a dark horse, look out for long-standing fine cars stalwart Rob Toscano in his very quick little MX-5 Mazda. I expect to see him right on the tail of the 3 big cars and possibly giving them a hard time. So that's another race worth watching. Once again, nearly 30 cars on the grid. It's going to be a crowded race. There's going to be action all over the circuit all the time.
And it's free live streaming as well. In closing, sports and GT doing what they love best, endurance racing. Onsa Hesi, going to be happening.
The Onsa Hesi 100, that's 31 laps or just a little bit more than 101 kilometers non-stop action. Once again, quite a large field, but there is only one Class S entry. Class S being the special class for cars that can do better than 1 minute and 12 seconds a lap. Now, that's superbike kind of times. We are talking about very, very fast cars. In this case, it's Marcel Angel in the Angel Autohaus, sorry, I beg his pardon, the Autohaus Angel Porsche GT2R. He can be expected to take the lead, possibly catch pole position, but he's not going to have it all his own way. 31 laps is a long stretch. And chasing him, he's got a whole lot of Class A cars, particularly, and I must mention Steve Humble of Harp Motorsport in his Mallock Mark 14B. That car is over 40 years old. It's still incredibly quick, and he is capable of giving anybody a hard time, given a long enough race. Although he complains, in fact, he complained about it this morning when I spoke to him, that the car gets extremely warm. You are so close to the engine that your leg actually gets uncomfortably hot as the car is running. They are hoping to put some insulation between the engine compartment and the cockpit so that Steve doesn't get cooked alive during the race. But spare a thought for Steve Humble, who will be chasing the Autohaus Angel Porsche all the way, because he's sitting in a car where he's only a couple of centimeters away from the engine, and it's going to be a very warm ride. In the same Class A, we've also got Gary Kieswetter's Porsche. We've got Charles Arton in a very, very quick Datsun. We've got Francis Carruthers in the second Harp Motorsport car, which is their Pilbeam MB84, which has a big Nissan V6 engine in the back and is most awful quick It's one of the fastest accelerating cars on Killarney. These are going to be something to watch. So I don't believe that Mr. Angel is going to have it all his own way.
Oh, that's something to really look forward to. And
sorry, didn't mean to talk all over you. That's the Also AC 100 tomorrow, live stream free of charge to the public at Killarney. Sorry, not tomorrow. I beg your pardon. I'm getting ahead of myself here. You can see how keen I am for the races. That is on Saturday, April 10, with it's a long day's racing. You better be ready for it all day. Qualifying starts at 8, and the last race will finish at around 5:30.
Going to be awesome, awesome, awesome stuff. Dave, thanks for joining us once again. The man with all the inside information from Killarney International Raceway, and as we said, the home of motorsport in South Africa, Killarney International Raceway, live streaming coming out to you gratis, free and for net, and that from 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. Dave, look forward to seeing you there. Be about 10 to 8, cup of coffee upstairs, and I'm sure when the bikes come out on circuit, we'll see you up there keeping a beady eye on the screen with us. A closing word from your side.
Thanks very much for the invite. Thanks for having me here. Hope we see all of you making comments on the live stream as it goes out on Saturday. We love to see the comments. It gives us a sense of what is actually happening. And I know that our live streaming broadcast crew watch the comments like a hawk, because they want to know that they are doing the right job. And I know that Gary watches the comments so that he can give you the very best commentary as the day goes on. So please comment, make your voices heard as the live streaming goes out. We want to know what's going on your side as much as you want to know what's going on our side. And we will see you hopefully there in front of your TV screen, in front of your computer, wherever you are on Saturday morning for Power Series Racing at Killarney.
There we go. The inside line from the man himself, Dave Abrams, the marketing guru from Killarney International Raceway. Folks, that wraps it up for tonight. Unfortunately, a rather long show, probably the longest show that we've had, but just so much motorsport happening this weekend. Can't miss out on it. Bloemfontein Oval, Killarney Main Circuit, Weskus Oval, East London Oval, Zone 7 karting, Oudtshoorn Oval as well. We had to cover it all. From us, Gary Fleming, enjoy your evening, enjoy your racing on Saturday. Make sure that you buy those live stream tickets and support the necessary clubs. And the live streaming that's going to be going out, remember, it's valid for numerous hours after the fact. So you can watch the free ones, load up the other ones thereafter, and you can have literally back-to-back motorsport this weekend. Good night to you, one and all.
Wescape Space. Just hold.